Governor Hogan's office, calling about my property and my case. Set an appointment with Kyle Gilbert.
Thank you for calling the governor's office. This is Mitch.
Yes, Mitch. My name's Dwayne Davis. Is Kyle Gilbert there?
You said Dwayne Davis?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if he's here. Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Can I ask what you're calling in reference to?
I'm calling in reference to some legal material that I gave Governor Hogan over a year ago, and Kyle Gilbert said that the legal department was going to contact me. I gave him this material in December of last year. I spoke to Kyle Gilbert in February during Black History Month, and I haven't heard from Kyle or anybody from his office. This material is about mass incarceration and racism. I'm an independent filmmaker in the state of Maryland. The office of Scott Shellenberger illegally arrested me and took my property, exposing the corruption in the government. Governor Hogan met with me personally at the Christmas party and said he'd talk to me, and I haven't spoken to anybody yet. I came to your office 2 weeks ago, and security wouldn't let me come talk to Mr. Gilbert. So they told me to call Mr. Gilbert and set up an appointment so we can rectify the situation. Supposed to set up an appointment, or he got the legal mail, he got all the material. He has
I'm assuming this is pertaining to a pardon?
No, I don't want a pardon. I'm not asking for a pardon. I'm asking for access to the grand jury, and I have a criminal case in which the state of Maryland refuses to take. I'm a victim. I'm not a defendant. I'm a victim.
Okay, hang on 1 second for me.
Now, this material I gave Governor Hogan is the same material I gave Judge Cox. It's the same material I submitted to Councilman Quirk. It's the same material that I've been submitting for the last 8-9 years. Governor Hogan has said that he would do something about it and has done nothing. They've been burying the story. It deals with mass incarceration and racism in Baltimore City and Baltimore County courts. And you see, when I went to the governor's office, they told me to set up an appointment. So that's what I'm trying to do, set up an appointment.
Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't think Kyle's here today.
Somebody's there. Is Megan there?
Megan?
Yeah.
Megan who?
I don't know Megan's last name, but Amanda, the scheduler.
I don't think she's in either.
Nobody.
I just called up to the governor's office and no one answered.
So what am I supposed to do here? Cause see, they told me I can't come up to the governor's office and knock on the door. They told me I got to call y'all and make a schedule. And I've been doing this.
Not allowed.
I've been doing this for like almost a year, and nobody wants to talk to me about this. This is about Scott Shellenberger and him abusing his powers of office for political purposes. This is about black people's rights in Maryland. If the governor can't defend my rights and the state refuses to defend my rights, what am I supposed to do? The comptroller asked for an audit. The comptroller asked me to contact the police, and the comptroller asked me to do this. I filed the proper paperwork. The paper's been in the police department's office since August. Judge Cox has it, and nobody wants to defend my rights. But when y'all wanted to lock me up and charge me with these crimes that I didn't commit, there wasn't a problem with everybody getting involved in. But now that I'm free and I'm not incarcerated and I'm free to defend myself and protect my interests, nobody wants to talk to me. I'm out $2.6 million. I'm a black Republican, and the governor needs to address this issue. It's the election year. The people elected him to take care of our issues. So Everybody's off work today. Nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody has any answers. So what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Anybody I can talk to?
I mean, you can talk to me.
I'm talking to you, and Kyle got my material. Kyle has the information. It's certified legal mail, and you have not responded to that legal mail. The governor's office has not responded to that legal mail. You've had it over almost a year now. December will make it a year. And you can't tell me that you can't find time to address this issue. And I've seen the governor in numerous places in numerous occasions. And I haven't acted out on him. I haven't did anything disrespectful. I've been pretty nice. So who's going to get in touch with me? Who's going to talk to me? Who's going to address these issues about race and racism in Governor Hogan's administration when he's not addressing it the way it needs to be addressed? You can't just sweep this issue underneath the rug and ignore my request or ignore my situation. I'm an innocent man. I was found innocent of all charges by law.
Did you submit a scheduling request?
Yes, I did. Talked to Mr. Gilbert personally and called him. I recorded the phone calls. And you can see the phone.
You know, sir, that's illegal.
Huh?
That's illegal.
I recorded the phone calls to protect me so he can't say that he didn't get it, and I sent it to him.
Well, that's illegal.
Well, if that's what it takes to take me to court, and then we'll settle it in court. Because if you don't protect my rights, I got a right to record my calls.
Have you been in touch with anyone from the Maryland Civil Rights Commission?
I've been in touch with everybody from the governor's office to Kathleen Pugh's office to the Civil Rights Division. I even got the Civil Rights Commissioner on videotape saying that he knew about this. And he ain't did nothing about this. I got cabinets. I got my representatives, Councilman Quirk. I got all of this documented. I was making a movie about our government and the way our government treats black people in Maryland. I am Dred Scott. Black people have no rights in which white establishment of power has the respect. And pretty much
that's not true, sir.
Pretty much if they took my truck, my computer, my business, and my property, what rights do they respect for a black man? The state did this.
I mean, well, what crime had you committed?
I didn't commit any crime. I was accused of terrorism. I was labeled a terrorist. And I won my case.
Reason?
I won my case. What reason? Because I was doing artistic forms of protest. I put toilets in front of political establishments. I put a toilet in front of the Towson Courthouse. And the toilet represented Gov.O'Malley, Bank of America, SunTrust Bank, in a civil case that I had in Baltimore City. It was evidence and clearly marked as evidence. But the state, the office of Scott Shellenberger, labeled me a terrorist, called me a terrorist, took me to trial. I won my case. He knowingly lied to the grand jury, didn't present the evidence that I submitted to the grand jury. So like I said, I told him when I started this, I am Dred Scott. I showed him when I started this that blacks have no rights. And pretty much now, y'all telling me that I got to keep chasing my tail to get my property back, to get a hearing with the governor. And that's just not how the politics work. You're supposed to defend my rights. You took an oath of office. The governor took an oath. The comptroller took an oath. And your oath is to protect the citizens' right under the Constitution. I got a right of freedom of speech, freedom of property, and all these things, and none of this is being respected.
Okay. Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes, sir.
Are you recording this conversation?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, I mean, as far as the governor's actual title and position and what he does as being the top executive in the state, he doesn't really. I mean, his wheelhouse isn't doing civil rights investigations pertaining to
I'm not asking to do a civil rights investigation. I'm asking him to give me access to my property and access to the courts. Like Dred Scott, I petitioned my governor, my elected officials, to protect my rights. And that's part of his job. I'm not asking for a pardon. I'm asking for access to the court and due process and equal protections under the law. That's his job, to protect our rights. That's what he was elected for, to protect all of Maryland's citizens' rights, black or white.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think that, you know, I'm not exactly sure what you would like, but
the letter that I sent Governor Hogan, the material that I sent Governor Hogan is very self-explanatory and explains everything. So if you look over the material, which Kyle had, which Governor Hogan received, then we would be able to move forward. But me talking to you is not going to bring clarity to the situation. You need to read the material and go through the material. Judge Cox got it, Caminet's got it, and nobody wants to address this.
What's your address, sir?
7904 Jody Knoll Road.
Okay.
Is this phone call being recorded on your end?
No, it's not.
You can contact Kyle, because I know y'all get in touch with him. And he could bring you up to date on this, and he can show you the information or tell you where it's at, because I need to know something. I'm not just didn't write this, and I didn't do this just to be ignored or be dismissed.
Okay. Well, it looks like this is all pertaining to a legal matter with Baltimore City.
No, Baltimore County. Scott Shellenberger. Scott Shellenberger. Also Zirkin, Bobby Zirkin, the judiciary hearings. Yeah, Bobby Zirkin, Scott Shellenberger, in the Democratic Party in Baltimore County. Ed Sidnor, the third. I even got papers with the Department of Justice and the FBI and the Attorney General's office. Like I said, the comptroller asked for an audit, and the comptroller said file criminal charges. I did everything the comptroller told me to do, but the state of Maryland is blocking those charges, blocking that investigation. The office of Scott Shellenberger is blocking it. So how can I do what I'm supposed to do when the powers that committed the crimes are in charge of the investigation and blocking an investigation on themselves? This is like Operation Greylord in Chicago, where the corruption in the courts existed and it was exposed. I'm a whistleblower, and I blew the whistle on our government. And in return for me blowing the whistle, I was locked up and labeled a terrorist. I've not committed no crimes in this state. And I've been here for over 20-something years. Never committed any crimes.
Well, were you found guilty of a crime?
I was found innocent. I was found innocent of all charges.
Now your beef is with the comptroller's office?
No, my beef is with the state, because the state participated in the fraud. Before I did all this, I was making a movie and a documentary about the state, the comptroller, the court system, the judges, the lawyers, and the politicians. All right? And when I got locked up, the state, the office of Scott Shellenberger and the Baltimore County Police Department took my truck, 8 years worth of videos and footage, a jailhouse diary, and a daily diary of the work I was doing here in Baltimore City, in Baltimore County. That's my intellectual property, and it's covered under the Constitution. And the state took it. Just like Dred Scott, blacks have no rights in which white people respect. And that was what the movie was called. It was called I Am Dred Scott.
Okay. Well, sir, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think this is something that the governor can be involved with.
Well, the governor needs, the same way that I respectfully wrote the governor, then the governor needs to write me a letter to respond to that so I can take it. Because what I'm doing is I'm trying to go to the...
That's not protocol for our office. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen.
Well, is protocol in your office to set an appointment to speak to the governor, ain't it?
It is, and, obviously our office has the authority to accept or deny those scheduling requests.
Accept or deny. So what do you do? How do you pick it? Because of the color of your skin or your campaign contribution? How do you decide who's got the right to talk to the governor? How do you choose who has the right to speak to the governor and who don't?
It's all situational. Depends on what the scheduling request is pertaining to.
So who do I talk to about that?
I think the only
who am I
person available is me right now. So
and who are you?
My name's Mitch.
All right, Mitch. I did record this phone call, and I'm going to send it to the Department of Justice. Y'all have a good day.